selected with other peers to be her main instructor, teacher. And the only way that they would be given governors over her was to show who was chosen by God. So they came to the Jordan River, Zechariah, other famous rabbis and scholars from that time. And each of them took their pen and they threw it in the Jordan River. And God quotes this to us in the Quran in the 3rd chapter. وَمَا كُنْتَ لَدَيْهِمْ إِذْ يُلْقُونَ أَقْلَامَهُمْ أَيُّهُمْ يَكْفُلُ مَرْيَمَ. You weren't present in watching who it was that threw their pens in the water to see by that lot, by that share, that we would decide who would be the patron of Mary. When each of these scholars threw their pens in the water, they said whoever so's pen flows against the current, he's chosen by God to be the leader and instructor of Maryam. And the pen of Zechariah floated. They recognized that it was his pen. So he was sanctioned by God to take care and nurture this pure soul. To the point that Allah further states to us in the Quran, whenever Zechariah would enter her private place of worship, he'd find that she had been given sustenance, food, drink, things that were unknown to them. And he'd question her and say, أَنَّا لَكِ هَذَا? Where did you receive the thing? قَالَتْ هُوَ مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ. It was given to me as a gift from God. She was so close to her Lord that the angels would converse with her. And you and I, the angels converse with her. It's a matter of faith, of course. It's a matter of belief. But the angels, as Muslims believe, would actually converse with Mary. إِذْ قَالَتِ الْمَلَائِكَةُ يَا مَرْيَمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ اصْطَفَاكِ. The angel spoke unto Mary and said to her, O Mary, God has chosen you. وَطَهَّرَكِ, and has purified you. وَاصْطَفَاكِ, and chose you from those who are pure. So she was chosen from humanity, purified, and then chosen from amongst those who were pure. وَطَهَّرَكِ عَلَى نِسَاءِ الْعَالَمِينَ, from amongst all the women of mankind. So she was an incredible human being. The Prophet of Islam, as is narrated in Bukhari, the authentic sources of tradition, he says, كَمُنَ مِنَ الرِّجَالِ كَثِيرٌ. Many men have attained spiritual nearness to their Lord. And fewer women have come to that nearness. But the most pertinent and the most profound, Maryam, the daughter of Imran, Asiya, the wife of Pharaoh. Some of these high profile female sources of spiritual development are important. So Mary was chosen from amongst all of humanity for a specific purpose. And that was to nurture a gift that God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, glorified and majestic be He, would give unto humanity from that very moment more than 2,000 years ago, some odd 2,000 years ago, according to historical evidences, that it would be given unto humanity and would be a source of purity to mankind till the day of judgment. Here actually we begin with the story of Isa, by looking at that chronology of the life of his mother and her biography, and seeing how close she was to God and how important she was to Allah, that she was so chosen to carry that great gift unto mankind. In the 19th chapter you find Allah quotes to us, وَاذْكُرْ فِي الْكِتَابِ مَرْيَمَ. Muhammad, recount unto humanity. Keep in mind, keep within you the story of Mary. She left her family, she left her place and moved a little bit towards the Sharq, to the east. And that is the city of Jerusalem. And in her devotional places of prayer, in front of her came the form of a man. A person enters into her closed area. A person in full respect from what she could see is a human being. And she stops her prayers and she says, إِنِّي أَعُوذُ بِالرَّحْمَنِ مِنْكَ إِن كُنْتَ تَقِيًّا. I seek refuge with the most merciful Lord from you. If you have any piety, leave me alone, don't molest me. قَالَ إِنَّمَا أَنَا رَسُولُ رَبِّكَ. He says to her, I'm nothing more than a messenger from God unto you. It was actually the archangel Gabriel in the form of a man to give her notice of something. إِنِّي رَسُولُ رَبِّكَ لِأَهَبَ لَكِ غُلَامًا زَكِيًّا, to give you foreknowledge that you will soon carry a child who will be purified by God. قالت أَنَّ يَكُونُ لِي غُلَامٌ وَلَمْ يَمْسَسْنِي بَشَرٌ. How is it that I'm going to carry a child when no man has known me? I've had no carnal knowledge. I'm still chaste. I've never been with a man. I'm not wed to anyone. وَلَمْ أَكُ بَغِيًّا, and no one has accused me of this. And that's actually a profound way of defending herself. She's saying, I know I haven't been with a man, and if you ask anyone, no one's ever going to claim that they've been with me, because it's two different stories, right? There's always that two different stories. The angel pauses and says to her, كَذَلِكِ قَالَ رَبُّكَ. Your Lord has decreed that you will carry this child. وَلِنَجْعَلَهُ آيَةً لِلنَّاسِ. And he will be a miracle and a sign unto mankind. A sign of a miracle from God in many different respects. One is that God can create from what He wills, how He wills, in the way and in the modality that He wills. And that certain things within our life that we take as rational and other things that we take as irrational are lifted when you speak of the power of God. It'll be a sign unto mankind of my ability to create in you a child without a man having come to know you. And also He will be a sign unto mankind with His purity and His ability to change the hearts of people, and the signs and the miracles that we will put in His hands to change the attitudes of people. And at that moment, فَحَمَلَتْ. In the Arabic, the word, any word that begins with the letter fa, and it's a little bit of a Arabic knowledge. The Arabic language is actually a pure language. What do I mean by pure? Not that English is a filthy language. Arabic language is a pure language in the sense that it's static. You can't add anything to the Arabic language. What was Arabic before is Arabic now, and will be Arabic later. There's no additions to it. You'll say, well, how do you say camera? You say camera with an Arabic accent. Camera. You know? It's a camera. You borrow an English word or a Latin word. You say it's هذه camera. But it's not considered an Arabic word. You won't find it in the Mu'jam. You won't find it in the compendium of Arabic words. Arabic words have roots and are built from those 3-letter roots, and in very strange cases 4-letter root words, that come and emerge from that. And one of those letters in the Arabic language is the letter fa. It means, when you add it to a word, that there is an instantaneous reaction happening. So that Allah tells us in the Quran, فَحَمَلَتْ, meaning at that very moment, just in speaking with the angel, she conceived the child. فَانْتَبَذَتْ بِهِ مَكَانًا قَصِيًّا. She moved away from Jerusalem, hiding her pregnancy, because anyone that would encounter her for those 9 months would say to her, what's happening? How come your stomach's growing? How come you have these morning illnesses and morning sicknesses, or whatever signs of pregnancy would show? So she moved to Bethlehem and stayed there away from her family in worship, in prayer, away from everyone, to the point that when she came to deliver this child, she exclaims unto God, يَا لَيْتَنِي مِتُّ قَبْلَ هَذَا وَكُنْتُ نَسْيًا مَنْسِيًّا. I'm in such a predicament, oh my Lord, I wish my life had ceased to exist before this moment. I wish I'd never come to being. How am I going to carry this burden of facing my family after being the anointed one, the chosen one, taught by the scholars? The prophet of God, Zechariah, was my tutor. I was given the privileges that weren't allocated and allotted to other women in Jewish society.